A lot of students, when they get to UVA, realize they need a resume to apply to either part-time jobs or even clubs or internships. You sort of show up and you see resume somewhere and students are like, I have no idea what's going on. Help me, please.
Most of the time when they come in for resume, it's not, I'm thinking about this for the future. But It's like, I have a deadline today or tomorrow, or I just saw something that looks really exciting and I don't even know what a resume is. And it's obviously the most common reason that people make an appointment at the Career Center or come see us. So, we wanted to talk about it today for that reason. It's our very first podcast.
Woo! I'm your host, Jessie, and I'm a career peer educator and a UVA student.
And I'm your host, Kate, and I'm a career counselor at the UVA Career Center.
You're listening to Work in Progress, a podcast that helps you understand and navigate the world of work. Work in Progress is a podcast that belongs to the TEEJ FM network. That's TEEJ.FM. Tune in and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on the UVA Career Center website. For more resources, follow the UVA Career Center on Facebook and Instagram.
This week on Work in Progress, we're debunking resume myths.
So, as you can imagine, we see all sorts of wild stuff, and we're here to talk about that and help you avoid some common mistakes. So, let's start with myth number 1. I don't have anything I can put on my resume. Is that true or false, Kate?
False. False.
I like the insistence.
Yeah, false.
No.
No. I feel like any student who applied to and got admitted to UVA has tons to put on a resume because that's what they've been working on for so long. And so part of what we might need to talk about here is just what is defined as work. A lot of students haven't really had much work experience, but there are lots of different things that could fall in line with work experience or things that have given you experience that were work, but maybe they didn't pay you. So a lot of students will come in and have some long list from high school and have a lot of activities, maybe athletics, maybe music. Those are all valid. Those are things that you can put on your resume because it shows you know how to work in a team, or it shows responsibility and basic work ethic. And for applying for a part-time job or a first job or internship, honestly, those are still a lot of the skills that employers are looking for. Content from high school is okay. I do want to just put a verbal asterisk there and say, as you go through college, you will definitely decrease the amount of high school stuff that's on your document.
When students, particularly from UVA, come in and say this, it's because they don't think that the work they're doing in organizations is important or good enough, and that's not the case. I'm a member of Spongebob Club. On the face of it, it might not seem like much. There's organization involved. There's fundraising involved. Those are all skills you can put on your resume.
I guess you were in Spongebob Club.
Yeah, I'm in Spongebob Club. I love it. It's great. Plug for Spongebob Club. Continuing on with the myths. We have myth number 2. Lots of students think that everything they've ever done should go on their resume. Is that a good idea?
This is basically the opposite of myth number 1. We do have a lot of people who want to put everything on it. And I think all of our students really worked hard when they were applying to college to build this really, really long list of activities, athletics, to look well-rounded. Now the game has kind of changed. You're in college. You're trying to customize your message a little bit more. You're trying to achieve a little bit of a focus. And so it's important to be more selective about what you put on the resume. It's also important to think about the order of the entries. Really, the most recent things are going to matter the most to people. So let's say you were applying for an internship at a software sales company that might recruit here frequently. If you've done sales in the past, you really want to talk about that more. You don't want to talk as much, perhaps, sorry, in this case, about Spongebob Club. You could list it, but you don't have to go into extreme detail because it may not be as relevant. Other things to think about, one would be having descriptions that are too long. And one thing that I think trips up a lot of students is their student organizations. So a lot of people in the outside world don't really understand what goes on with student organizations. And so because they're the things that students are most familiar with, sometimes they go to a level of detail or they use terms that just don't make sense to the outer world. Outer world.
Outer world, outer space. I have a fun game. I'm going to quiz you.
Ooh.
And you let me know if you, as an employer, you know what anything I'm about to say means.
I'm ready.
Okay. Studco.
Ah. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so what would you say instead?
Student council.
Okay, fair. Next one. Ready? Exec.
Ah.
This is like taking a real hit to my self-esteem here. What would you say? If not exec.
No adult has ever said exec. I'm the exec director. Is not a thing
It's the hip lingo.
that somebody would say. I would say executive team. You could say leadership team.
Okay, last phrase. Are you ready? Madison House.
Ah.
I am taking hit after hit after hit.
Is this about James Madison? Is it in Madison, Wisconsin? Those are the guesses that I would have. And so I would say UVA's Central Volunteer Organization.
Okay.
We're not trying to say that these things aren't super important. Everything we're talking about actually would be amazing entries on a resume.
Absolutely.
If anybody's doing these things, those are amazing. But if they're spending time Googling Madison House, they're not reading your resume.
Yeah.
And so that's what we want to avoid. We want to make sure people are getting credit
Yes.
for the good things that they've done.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for explaining all of the myths, debunking them, explaining alternatives and other methods.
In our last segment, we answer some questions from UVA students.
Nick asked, is there a tool online that will help me fill out a resume?
This is a very common question. And one piece of advice that we really like to give for students in particular who are just starting to build a resume is not to use online tools just yet. You're going to be adding so much to your resume in college, and it's a work in progress. It's constantly changing, and we really do think that creating your own version in Microsoft Word, if you can just look at some of the examples on our website or come in for some support, we know you can do it. It can be really appealing to use a template, but a lot of those formats actually are very limiting. They don't create a lot of room for what you need to do, which is to explain to the employer in bullets or in descriptions why the things that you have done are relevant to what they want you to do next. The other reason why we don't recommend people using tools or templates is because a lot of larger companies, they use software to actually review your resume for keywords, which is a whole other conversation that we can have at the Career Center with you. But the HTML code, the images that are in a lot of those templates can really just mess that up.
There is maybe one exception to using a tool online, and that is usajobs.gov. They use a resume builder, and they encourage you to use that. It's to help with that screening process you were talking about.
That's a really good point, and I think those are really great questions to come in and ask a career counselor or ask an advisor, a career peer educator as well. There are definitely exceptions to all of these, and we would love to talk to you about it.
Yeah, absolutely. For more information on USA Jobs, go check out the Public Service and Government Community page on the UVA Career Center website, which is career.virginia.edu. Let's do one more student question. This one comes from Jason. He asked, for someone looking to get into a creative field, how can I best show my creativity in my resume?
My bottom line after talking to people in creative industries is don't rely on your resume to show your creativity. If you're applying for creative jobs, you should have a portfolio. You should have a personal website or at least work samples that show your work. It is okay for a lot of creative fields to be a little bit more lax about things like font, or if you wanted to use a 2-column format, something like that. But you just don't want to get into that situation where you have too many images, colors. That can actually seem really distracting. And so you have to remember that the people who are going to first look at your resume, particularly in larger companies or organizations, will probably be HR professionals. And they're not there to evaluate your creativity. They're there to check off a box and make sure that you have the experience that's needed. But in general, I would say save your creativity for the portfolio.
Thank you, Kate, for debunking all of those myths, answering some questions.
And thanks to our students who submitted questions.
Yes.
Those were very helpful, and I think they really represented a lot of what we see. And we do want to remind everybody that we're here, we're available, and we like to help.
You want that affirmation? You're about to get it. All right. People think you can only show up if you have it all figured out. That's another myth, just generally about the Career Center. You don't have to have it all figured out to come in. Like, we will help you wherever you are, whether it's you don't know what's happening to I have a job secured and I'm doing salary negotiations.
If you don't have a resume, that's okay.
Yes.
You could just come in with questions. You could just come in and say, how would I possibly get started? So you don't have to wait until that moment comes when you're stressed out. You actually can come in anytime.
Nice.
Woo-woo!
Yeah!
Yay!
We did the thing.
We did it!
Work in Progress is a podcast by the UVA Career Center, Teach FM, and WTJU. I'm your host, Jessie, and my co-host is Kate. Work in Progress is produced by Mary Garner McGee. Our music is from Blue Dot Sessions. Follow the UVA Career Center on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check out our website at career.virginia.edu.